Hello. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 5 signs that an elderly person may be in their last year of life. Enjoy the video and learn something new. Did you know that many elderly people show signs they may be in their final year of life, long before anyone realizes it? It doesn't happen all at once. In fact, it often begins with the smallest changes, ones so subtle, they're easy to miss. But they're there. And when you know how to spot them, you can make all the difference in how the story ends. Let me tell you a true story. A woman named Evelyn, 83 years old, lived alone in the house her husband built decades earlier. Her daughter visited once a week, just to check in. For the most part, Evelyn seemed fine. She still smiled, still told stories. But over a few months, things began to shift. First, she lost interest in her meals. Then, she started skipping church. She forgot a few names, slept more. She said she was just tired. Her daughter assumed it was just normal aging, but it wasn't. By the time they got her to a doctor, Evelyn was already in organ decline. She passed away quietly 3 months later. Her family loved her deeply, but looking back, they all said the same thing. The signs were there. We just didn't know what to look for. That's what this video is about. Because the body often speaks before it shuts down, with whispers, not screams. And if you know what to pay attention to, you can help someone you love feel safer, more supported, and more at peace in their final months. Sometimes, awareness is the greatest gift we can offer. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 5 of the most common and most overlooked signs that someone may be entering their final year. These are not meant to scare you, but to help you prepare. To help you listen more closely, and most of all, to help you show up when it matters most. Stay with me, because some of these signs might already be happening in your own home. The first sign, and often the earliest warning, is something that many people overlook until it's too late. It's unintentional weight loss. Not dieting, not exercising, just losing weight, quietly, steadily, without trying. It usually begins with small clues. Pants that feel looser, belts that suddenly need tightening, a favorite sweater that doesn't quite fit the same way anymore. And most families think maybe they're just eating less because of age. But this isn't just about appetite. This is the body sending a message. Take Robert, for example, 80 years old, retired carpenter, proud of his strong hands and big meals. For years, he enjoyed his bacon and eggs every morning. But slowly, his habits changed. His daughter, Lisa, noticed that his plates came back half full. He said things like, "I'm not really hungry today," or "food just doesn't taste the same." Over 6 months, Robert lost 20 pounds without even realizing it. Here's why this matters. As the body begins to decline, it often stops absorbing nutrients properly. The digestive system slows down. Muscles begin to shrink. And with less food intake, energy drops dramatically. Weakness sets in. Balance becomes harder. Falls happen more easily. The immune system grows weaker. Sometimes, weight loss is connected to serious conditions like cancer, heart failure, or advanced digestive problems. But other times, it's simply the body beginning to slow down its internal engines, a quiet preparation for what's coming. If you're seeing this in someone you love, don't ignore it. Start by paying close attention to their meals. Are they skipping meals? Leaving food untouched? Losing interest in favorites they once loved? Encourage small, nutrient-rich snacks like smoothies, soft fruits, oatmeal, or protein drinks. Focus on hydration too, because dehydration often hides alongside weight loss. And most importantly, talk to their doctor. A full health checkup can reveal issues that may not be visible on the surface. Because here's the truth. Unintentional weight loss after 70 is never something to brush off. And sadly, what often comes next is even more concerning, a deep exhaustion that rest alone cannot fix. The second sign is one that often follows right behind weight loss, and it's easy to explain away until it becomes impossible to ignore. I'm talking about persistent fatigue and overall weakness. This isn't just about feeling tired after a long day. It's not the kind of tiredness that goes away with a nap. This is a deep, ongoing exhaustion that makes even the simplest tasks feel like a burden. Getting dressed, walking to the kitchen, holding a phone conversation, Everything begins to require more effort than it used to. Let's look at Margaret, 84. She used to love her morning routine, watering the garden, preparing breakfast, reading the newspaper. But over time, those habits began to fade. She started sleeping in later. She stopped watering the plants. Even preparing toast seemed too tiring. When her daughter visited, Margaret simply said, "I just don't have the energy today." But today turned into every day. What's really happening? As the body prepares for its final stages, it begins conserving energy. Organs may not be functioning at full strength. Circulation slows. Muscle mass continues to decrease. The heart has to work harder to do the same job it did years ago. And with less energy being produced, the body becomes protective, focusing only on the essentials. That's why walking across the room might feel like running a marathon. This kind of weakness also affects independence. Many seniors begin to withdraw from activities they once enjoyed, not because they've lost interest, but because they no longer have the strength to participate. Emotionally, this can lead to feelings of frustration, shame, and isolation. If someone you love is sleeping significantly more, taking longer to get ready, or avoiding movement altogether, pay attention. Ask gentle questions. Are you feeling more tired lately? Or is it harder to do things you used to enjoy? Encourage small, manageable activity, even light stretching, short walks, or standing up a few extra times a day. But more importantly, don't push. Offer support, not pressure. And always listen closely to their energy levels. If you're still here with me, that tells me you truly care. Please type the number 2 in the comments to let me know you're watching. And if this content is helping you, feel free to subscribe for more insights like these. Because sometimes, the next warning sign doesn't show up in the body at all. It begins quietly in the mind. The third sign is often the hardest to notice at first because it doesn't always show up in the body, it shows up in the mind. I'm talking about mental confusion or emotional withdrawal. When an elderly person is approaching their final year, one of the clearest signs is a slow change in how they think, speak, or connect with others. It might begin with simple forgetfulness, misplacing keys, repeating stories, forgetting names. But over time, it becomes more noticeable. They may forget what day it is, or even get confused about where they are. Sometimes, they withdraw completely from conversations or family gatherings, sitting quietly, staring at nothing in particular. That's exactly what happened with Edward, 85. Edward was sharp his whole life, a man who could fix anything and remembered every detail of his past. But his daughter, Susan, began noticing small changes. He struggled to follow a story on TV. He forgot the names of old neighbors. Then, on Thanksgiving, in the middle of dinner, Edward looked around the table and whispered, "Where are we again?" It broke Susan's heart. But here's the truth. This kind of confusion isn't always about dementia or Alzheimer's. Sometimes, as the body slows down, so does the brain, especially when blood flow, oxygen, and nutrition are reduced. And withdrawal isn't always about memory loss either. Sometimes seniors begin speaking less, not because they forget, but because talking feels tiring. They may stop participating in conversations or avoid social situations altogether. And sadly, many families mistake this for grumpiness or disinterest, when really, it's a sign that their loved one is struggling quietly. If you notice this happening, the most powerful thing you can do is stay patient. Speak slowly. Make eye contact. Keep the environment calm. And don't pressure them to talk if they seem tired, but always stay close. Because even if their words fade, your presence still matters more than anything. And while changes in the mind are difficult to witness, what comes next can be just as concerning, especially when the body begins to struggle with healing itself. The fourth sign that often appears in the final year of life is something most people completely underestimate. It's frequent infections or wounds that take far too long to heal. You see, as we age, especially near the final stage, the immune system becomes weaker. Cuts and bruises that used to heal in days now take weeks. A common cold lingers longer. Small infections return over and over again, and the body struggles more and more to defend itself. Take the story of Helen, 82. Helen had always been independent. She cooked, cleaned, even worked in her little garden. But then, one day, she scraped her leg on the corner of her bed. Nothing serious, just a small scratch. Weeks went by, and it still hadn't healed. Soon after, she caught a cold, and it stayed with her for over a month. Then a urinary tract infection came. Then another. Her family thought it was just bad luck, until her doctor gently told them her body is struggling to recover. This is a sign of something deeper. This happens because, as circulation weakens, the body's ability to repair itself slows down dramatically. Less blood flow means fewer nutrients reach the skin and tissues. The immune system, already tired, can't fight as effectively as it once did. And when this happens, small problems can quickly become serious. If you notice that an elderly person keeps getting sick, or that small wounds won't heal, don't wait. This is a clear sign to speak with a doctor. Sometimes small changes, like better nutrition, hydration, or antibiotics, can help the body recover a little faster. But even more important than treatment is care. Helping them stay clean, comfortable, and well-nourished can make a world of difference in their daily life. Since you're still watching, I can tell you're someone who truly cares. Please hit the like button if this video is helping you. It really supports this channel and helps us reach more people going through this difficult stage with their loved ones. And now, as challenging as slow healing can be, there is one final sign that goes even deeper. It's a sign that has nothing to do with illness and everything to do with letting go. The fifth and final sign is the quietest of all, but often the most powerful. It's a subtle shift, a deep emotional and spiritual signal that someone may be preparing to let go. This doesn't come with alarms. It doesn't look like pain or panic. In fact, it often appears as peace, a calm detachment, a quiet acceptance that the final chapter may be approaching. Many families miss this sign because it doesn't look like something wrong. The person might stop asking about the future. They may lose interest in their favorite shows, their usual routines, or even things like upcoming holidays or appointments. Conversations shift away from plans and toward memories. That's what happened with James, 86. He'd spent years saving up for a trip to see his childhood home one last time. But when his daughter brought it up, he gently smiled and said, "I don't think I need to go anymore. I've already been there in my mind." Instead of talking about what was next, he started talking more about his wife, who had passed away 10 years earlier, about their first house, about the old songs they used to dance to. He stopped reading the newspaper. He started listening to old music, sitting quietly for long stretches, watching the wind outside his window. He wasn't sad. He was settled. For many people nearing the end, this happens in small but meaningful ways. A favorite hobby set aside. A calendar left untouched. The energy once used to plan the days ahead is slowly redirected inward, toward reflection, closure, and peace. If you notice this in someone you love, don't try to pull them back into routine. Instead, be present with them where they are. Ask about the past. Listen to their stories. Let them speak about the people they miss, the things they regret, or the moments that made them proud. Because in those moments, they are showing you what truly matters to them. And your presence, your listening, your love, it means everything. Now that you've seen all 5 signs, let's take a moment to reflect. Because understanding is just the first step. What we do with that understanding is what truly honors those we love. Remember Evelyn, the 83-year-old woman I told you about in the very beginning? Her story wasn't about a sudden tragedy. It wasn't about doctors or hospitals. It was about small moments, subtle signs, little changes that spoke louder than words. If only her family had known how to listen sooner. But here's what matters most. In those last 3 months, when her daughter finally understood what was happening, everything changed. They stopped worrying about errands, about routines, about fixing every little thing. Instead, they just showed up. They sat with Evelyn in the quiet. They listened to her stories, the same ones, told over and over again. They brought her favorite tea, held her hand, laughed with her, loved her exactly where she was, without trying to pull her back to where she used to be. And you know what Evelyn said just days before she passed? "These have been some of my happiest days." Because when you strip away everything else, the schedules, the distractions, the noise, what truly matters is simple. love, presence, being seen, being heard, being remembered. Maybe someone in your life is showing these signs right now. Maybe a parent, a grandparent, a dear friend. Or maybe this video has helped you understand your own journey in a new way. Whatever the case, I hope you take this as a gentle reminder. It's not about how much time we have left. It's about how deeply we live and how fully we love in the time we're given. If this message touched your heart, I would be honored if you leave a comment below. Even just a simple word like love or memory. It lets me know you're here, part of this little family we're building. And if you'd like to walk this path with me, learning more about life, health, and aging with wisdom and dignity, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. I would love to have you here. And please, don't forget to click the like button. It helps this message reach more people who need it. Because in the end, none of us walk this journey alone. And sometimes, the smallest moments are the ones we carry with us forever. Thank you so much for watching and for being someone who listens with their heart.